voting for Mike
Okay.
tonight. And, oh, here you go. And, when
Oh, wow.
the minutes of.
To sit in one of those chairs.
All right, the approval of the minutes of December the 5th. Anybody
I
have,
will move to accept the minutes of
as written?
December
Second.
5th, that's right.
Anybody have any additions, deletions, comments about the minutes? Look fine to me.
I second.
All right, we've got a second here, and all in favor of the minutes as written for December the 5th? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we'll move on.
Bob, did you sit somebody for somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just for?
Basically
Mike.
just for Mike. Mike's not gonna be making.
Thank you.
All right, the old business, the status of the couple of the items here, the Goodspeed Landing. Nothing in particular to report on that. River Valley, 5-town. Irene, do you have any update on them?
Yeah, we're moving forward with the Explore Connecticut Shoreline. They are going to the American Bus Association travel show coming up in January. So they're putting the 5-town up there as a region, downriver region. And we're going to be marketed together with the other 4 towns at this point. We didn't put it in as 5-town because we're hoping that we can get in Saybrook, Lyme, Old Lyme.
Oh, they wanna
It
do the
as
whole
well.
valley, everybody.
Well, because ultimately if we get those other towns, we then have hotels and motels until we have our own. You know, we have some bed and breakfasts in the area, but we don't have a complete picture of, you know, coming here as a destination. Right now, we have a lot of day trips and that's what we're gonna concentrate on.
Yep.
But we really think that with the, you know, the having housing, you know, overnight housing and accommodations is really what's gonna make it or break it for the area, so we really should put them in there as well. And as it's being termed or valued at downriver in COGS and things like that, and in chambers as well, they're talking about downriver, so we can't be downriver almost. So ultimately, the downriver will include the southernmost parts. But at this point, we have the 5 towns, the original 5 towns, who are getting on board at this thing, and they're getting all their, like ours is already up there.
Yeah.
They're getting their
I think
profiles
Chester
and-
is all in right now? or-
Chester's in, Haddam's in. The only one I'm still working on is Essex.
Yep.
We have the money, we just have to get the person who's gonna come to the meetings
Oh, okay.
and be on board. So we're getting there, pulling, you know, kicking and screaming, some of them more than others, but everybody's on board, and everybody actually voted. We were trying to see if Eversource would give us a grant
Yep.
to put us all on there, but the towns actually came back and said, you know, for $400, this is a year's program,
It's a
we're gonna be
no-brainer.
marketed yearly by these people for these 2 big markets, New York and Boston. You know, we need to buy into it, and we need to put, you know, some money up on the table. So we need to have some skin in the game. So it was the towns, the other towns who said, for $400, we ought to be in on this, and they like jumped on it. All of them jumped on it, well, except for Essex, we're still working with them, but.
That's great. That's
And
great.
I have the money if needed
Yep.
for Essex,
Yep.
but we're hoping to just get them to buy in and be done.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah, so it's good. So things are moving along really well, and so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. But the value of that, we have 2 things that we have to do. One, the value is that they'll have analytics as far as how many clicks and things that they have. What we have to determine on our side is how to, number one, put the you know, the trails, the destinations, or the day trips together, and then do some kind of our own clicks, you know, whether it be a passport or whatever it is, but put together that so that we can have an idea that they have their analytics, but we have our.
And
You know,
are
so
we
both-
going to have, I mean, our businesses listed in here somehow? Or
Yeah.
like some of the ones
So
that
what we'll
want
do
to
is
throw
highlight-
in something? Obviously, the ones who have
There are
restaurants.
some of them are already on there, like Jess is on there.
Okay.
Goodspeed is on there already. The Steam Train is on there already. There's a few others that are local that are on. I think Staley's is going on there.
Okay.
So I think there's a few that are already in
Is
on
this
their
a fee
site
structure for each one of
for
them?
them.
Yeah.
Because theirs theirs is different than ours. Ours is just highlighting the region
Yep.
and highlighting different places. Fox Hop Yard is another one that's going in there.
Okay.
So then what happens is as we put together our trails,
Yep.
whatever, you know, our destination days are gonna be looking like, then we are going to identify new partners for them just to contact and see if they want to get a full-fledged site with them as well.
Yep.
So that's where we're getting, you know, some feedback back and forth and some play back and forth with them.
Yeah.
And if we get people that they then sign up, then we get a credit back toward 2021's site
Well,
for downriver.
yep, okay.
So,
All right,
It's
so I
really
mean,
kinda
this, to, me, when I saw the presentation and saw it, I mean, it sure seems like good value.
yeah.
If we can get some exposure out of that
Mm-hmm.
and get a little bit of activity out of it, I think it's gonna be a good investment in publicity for us.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we can also get the word out to the businesses that this is available to them out there.
Well, that's the next step, is that we have to get them to know that this is coming and that, you know, we'll be on the map and that they are on the way.
Right.
So that's the thing, is what we have to do, is we have to get them.
So that they know the program is available, what the program costs, and obviously if they
Right.
feel they could benefit from them, and so. no-
We've
nice-
had them at the business association meetings too, but I think there's a plan for later this year for a bigger presentation, or at least to join on somewhere where they're doing a bigger one. Like I know they canceled the one in Old Saybrook,
Yeah.
but yeah, so the awareness is starting, and they had a special rate for businesses to get in at like $300. You know, so I don't know how many people will take advantage, but I think it'll take a little time for businesses to go all in to see it multiple times and then go, oh, okay, I better jump on now.
Yeah, and especially after you go through one season with it, and if we see that some success comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously you being a spokesperson for, you know, the success or not of it, and so you'll be able to.
I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's going to be a really good site.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think it'll give us exactly what, you know, we need. We need exposure. We've got a lot of good stuff, but we
Yeah.
just need more exposure to let people know that it's here and when it's available and how it's available, and go from there. So no, I think that's been a wonderful addition. Anything else that you'd like to bring up about what's going on with 510?
Oh, that's good.
All right, sounds good.
Mutis Center, we've been talking with P and Z about having a committee look at Mutis Center and what we can do to basically beautify the area, basically whether it's architecturally or or else basically landscaping, and then work with the businesses to let them know that, you know, we'd like to see their businesses, the buildings, actually some work done on them, what they could do. Could we do something to offer them some assistance with architects or anything? I don't know, but maybe if we find some interest there, maybe we could do something with the Main Street program, and see if we couldn't look at what could be done with the center to make it a little bit more inviting area for a business area. And I think what they're looking at now is the situation where we've had some vacant buildings here with the pharmacy going out and the grist mill closing. You know, is this an opportunity where we could actually do some work on those buildings to update them a little bit? But I think we need to talk to the owners and see if there's anything that we could do as a town, as a board, to see if there isn't some assistance available, and let them know we would like to work with them. And, you know, maybe if we could get some interest from one of the programs, maybe we could get the owners to be a little interested too. My understanding is another one of the buildings in the gristmill area has been leased, and so that it will be another business in one of the front buildings. So hopefully that all gets put together, because my understanding is that there's leases on the table, and everybody looks like they're going to go ahead with it.
So we will probably know by next meeting whether that actually flies or not,
Bob, do we know what business will be going in there?
I know, but I don't want to disclose it. Basically,
It's not
it's not public information yet, but I think that they're very close to something, and it's actually an existing business in town. So
Okay.
something that's basically growing. So I think that that's a nice. nice
Is
addition.
the old bank building, is that part of the plaza? Or
Yes.
is that privately, it's still
Yes.
part of the plaza?
Yeah, that is still owned by the plaza as one property.
All right.
And that's certainly another one that's sitting here that, we'd love to find a use for that. And that's a nice little building, and there's no reason that building can't have a use to it. And but I think that if we could show some interest, and if the owners wanted to work with us a little bit, maybe this is a good time to offer them some assistance, and we'll see, basically through your office, what we could find with any, typically it's a low interest rate loans is what is typically out there that we might be able to attract, and low interest rates, it's like 2%.
Yeah.
It's something that could be attractive if somebody wanted to do something. So let's see. I'm going to probably be looking for a couple of volunteers for working with, because it's going to be a joint committee with Planning and Zoning and EDC. I'll know a little bit more during this month. Basically, P&Z has said that they're going to put some members together. Jim,
Oh, I was volunteering.
Oh, you were volunteering, great, and because I think it's a good possibility here, and so I'll be looking for one other member, and I'll basically let people know when we have some kind of a schedule. It's P&Z who's kind of heading this up, so I think that after their first meeting, it'll be on the 14th. And after that, they'll be setting something up for some times, and I'll have a little bit more detail as to how they want to operate that. But I want to definitely be a part of that. And so it's going to be 3 members from P&Z, 3 members from EDC, and maybe one other member from the Board of Selectmen, I believe, is going to be on that too, to see what we could do with that. The appointment of a chairman and a vice chairman. I've been the chairman here for this board for 4 years now, and
Do we need to nominate people?
yes.
I nominate Bob Kazan.
Okay.
Who is the vice chairman?
We don't have a vice chairman at this moment, but I think that hopefully we can do that tonight. But I wanted to see if anybody else would be interested in being the chairman here. It's quite a pay category here. The 401k program is really outdoing itself. But if there's any other buddy who would be interested, I would certainly say I'm certainly willing to continue on, but I would also realize that sometimes it's good to have a new chair and new ideas on a board chairman. So I would say, is there any other people who are volunteering? God, no hands are going in the air. Oh, whoa.
Nominated Bob, so we just
okay.
have a second,
I'll
right?
second that motion.
Here we go.
Okay. All right, well, all those in favor of myself
Aye.
continuing on?
Yeah,
Well, thank you very much for your confidence.
Thank you.
I appreciate
you're
it.
doing a good job.
I've tried to take and do a good job for the town, and do something for EDC and keep our name out there in a positive way, and so we'll see if we can continue on doing that. All right, now, we didn't have a vice chairman for the last 2 years, and I definitely would like to have a vice chairman. And I think that it would make it so that if I'm not here, we have somebody to run the meetings, and also just to have like second in command around here. And so since Don was so nice and nominated me, before I can I'm gonna nominate Don to be our vice chairman.
I second that.
Thank you, Bob. Oh,
You're
thank you,
willing
Jim.
to do that? Anybody else who would like to put their name in for being vice chairman?
Do we know anything about Mike? We're good? He's good, right?
Yeah, Mike is fine.
Okay. Just want to make sure since he's not here.
But,
Maybe that was intentional.
yeah. But, all right, all those in favor of Don being our vice chairman?
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor?
Congratulations, Tom.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's another great paid position.
Big
over
shoes
there.
to fill.
No, thank you for
Big empty
taking,
shoe.
being willing to do that.
Thank you.
All right, our first selectman, Rob, would you like to give us any update on your office?
So, well, obviously, it's budget season, and lots of meetings going on with that. And I'm awaiting an appointment with the chairman of the Economic Development Commission to meet with the selectmen and Cindy. So, make an appointment to visit us. So
All right.
we pre-meeting on our budget, so we've been meeting with everybody.
All right.
You may be, if not the last, about the last.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right.
But the idea is that if we get some things and make people aware of what's going on and what we're looking for, we can get through the second part of the process much more quickly and painlessly.
Okay.
So people are usually interested in roads. The Johnsonville Road Bridge is open for the moment. They were gonna try and do veneer stone work on the bridge, right when that cold spell hit. And they decided trying to keep the rocks warm that they were gonna have to put on and the concrete warm, and to make it all come together was gonna be too onerous. So they've opened the road up now, and they will continue the veneer stone application come spring. But makes it much easier for the plow truck, so they don't have to go down and turn around, and all the rest of the associated work that's going on down there. When they start the work in the spring, they may have to shut it down for a while as the veneer stone goes on, but especially if they're working on both sides at once. If they're working on one side, they may just keep it one lane. The core boring has been done on Hemlock Valley and some additional surveying work. We're waiting on a report on that, and hopefully we can proceed fairly quickly on that and maybe take care of it in-house. If there is no huge evidence of any slippage there, we'll know again shortly.
Is that what they were worried about? Is that basically the road is moving basically towards the
headed down
stream?
into the stream. And there was only one area that looked like that was the case, but they're investigating it all along there. But I know some of the core borings, from what I heard, went down about 3 feet and hit ledge. So it couldn't go very far.
Yeah.
Oh, there's ledge here in East Hampton?
Yeah, it's the only spot
We
in
just
town.
talked.
And you found it, huh?
Yep. But there is one spot there where there was some slippage, but that could have happened 5 years ago, because no one was much interested in it until we had the flooding 14 months ago. We got the first views of the engineered plans for Neptune Avenue. The repairs to Neptune Avenue were estimated to be $500,000. The engineering plans came in at $1.2 million. We looked at some options and changed the slopes, and are hoping to get that down considerably, because that seems like an awful lot of money for it is a substantial hole, but question whether it's a $1.2 million hole. We finally got it down to $1 million, but still that's responsibility of the town. There would be $250,000 approximately. So we'll continue to look at that. A couple things that were of interest in the plans was that it had 10 or 12 inches of bituminous as the surface. So
Wow.
I didn't think anyone was planning on landing 747s on it. So
That's an awful lot.
even the engineers seemed surprised. Anyway, it's not 12 inches anymore. Ackley, which goes from Wickham out to Hall Kilbourne, is basically done. It's been totally rebuilt, basically. The sides were widened. I think 120 trees were removed. Drainage was improved. There's now shoulders and swales on each side, and a lot of money was spent there, but it should be good for just about forever. And it's actually quite a nice drive out there. You remember we did get a $25,000 grant from Consumer Union to work on that project.
Was that also that project part of the flooding
Yes.
money? So
Yes,
that's
all the gravel roads have been, well, not all of them done yet, but we're still working on Mitchell Road, has additional repairs. There's still some stuff gonna go on out at East Shore Drive on Lake Hayward, and a couple other roads. Salem Road, I think they're starting next.
But this is like FEMA, or this is a
FEMA,
percentage, right?
Hopefully 75% of everything.
75.
Unfortunately, it's all being done as a one package, so there's gonna be a delay while we get all the money back, and which means we're gonna have to be funding some money for short-term loans probably to do the repairs right now, and then pay them off fairly quickly.
Does FEMA cover interest on
What's
those
that?
loans? Does FEMA cover interest on those loans?
Sure it does.
We all know how friendly that's gonna be.
We were contacted on, I think it was early Monday or Tuesday of this week, or maybe very late last week, by a company called Getaway. Anyone familiar with Getaway?
No.
Getaway is a
You do destinations, right? A small
yeah,
building,
they do destinations with like trailers.
right?
And the concept is they want to set up locations that are within 2 hours of, did you get the information yet on it? I don't know if
I
Jim
have
sent
not
it
gotten
to you,
it.
but okay.
No, but I was talking to Jim about it.
Oh, okay, you're starting to do it.
Yeah.
So, am I stealing your thunder?
No,
Okay.
go right ahead.
So this company has started out in 2015 with one location, they now have 8. They are extremely popular. They are little trailers that have at least one twin bed. They have I don't think they're in competition with you.
I like
but-
competition.
But they're kind of geared for, again, they have one queen size bed per trailer, and then some of them actually have 2, but they're set up like bunks for 2 couples to come camping together. They each have a kitchen, bathroom, they have water, electricity, but the big push is that they have no TV, and most people put their phones away when they get there, and they like to be 2 hours away from urban areas, so it's a simple drive for people to come for a weekend or a day, or just to disconnect for a while. And the fact that they've grown 800% in 3 years, a little over 3-4 years, is indicative, I think, of the popularity of the program and the business. And they're looking at what was the 4-H camp? So maybe 40 units there. The idea again is to let people come and do stuff that's relaxing. They just took a shot, and when the 4-H camp sent the thing out, they just went out everywhere and they looked at it, and they were pleased that we had a resort zone, so they thought that would help, and the fact that there's a resort almost across the street. And they had no idea what are the other features of the town. They knew nothing about the trails, they knew nothing about the good speed, state parks, the rivers, the lakes, and the IBA, because nothing more relaxing than looking at birds, and that's the number 1 or number 2 outdoor recreation in the country. And the fact that our eastern border is a wild and scenic river watershed. So they were quite excited about the potential, and we're going to do some more investigating. So
Are they looking to purchase, or that, so they purchase and then they
They set it up.
basically set up, so these
Set up
are
each of these little
permanent,
trailers.
they're permanent set on the site.
They're on wheels, but they're permanently set up on a slab. Like you said, they have water, electricity, and sewer connections for everything.
Yeah.
And,
So they're gonna put in a sewer system for that.
they would either have sewers or fields, separate fields for each little area. Because they're small, you could probably get away with pretty small fields. I've heard of these in other places, on the western coast they have them also, I believe it's the west coast, somewhere. And, the big thing is that, so people can just disconnect for a couple days and, because apparently there's a lot of pressure on people living in cities.
None
But,
here.
I thought it was very much from what, people would be interested in doing, and, I don't know if they're planning on using any of the existing cottages there or not, but, maybe not, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't, but,
Sounds like a very interesting thing and something that might be very fitting for
and we're,
the area.
kind of fits in with, what we're looking at in the town, and of course, kitchen facilities are small, but they are, there, but I'm sure a lot of these people will be going out for dinner, and if not this town, in the immediate area, and, so I think, help all our towns, or town businesses would be kind of a good mix, so.
Yeah, no. So you have some information on that?
We
You
have
might
some
be able to
information
shoot
there,
over?
the whole program's online, it's called Getaway, I think.
Yep.
And the Venture sent them out a bunch of stuff about the town, so. They'll be getting back to us, don't know if anything's gonna come of it or not, but they seem, we
Maybe
piqued
they're
their
doing their
interest.
research
I was gonna say,
right now.
that's the first thing, you've got their interest.
Yep,
So
so,
it's their intent to park units and leave them there year round?
yep, and they actually rented year round. But that is an issue, I think, because I think we have a zoning thing about having,
Well, state of Connecticut does too.
state of Connecticut does too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's you have to looking at. My concern would be the life expectancy on the trailers. You
They're
know.
not like a regular trailer, they look kinda like a little house on wheels.
So like little
Okay.
tiny houses essentially.
tiny
Yeah,
houses.
the tiny houses,
Freedom.
yeah. Because there's a short life on those,
Is there?
yeah.
They look hideous.
And, we don't want to end up with a bunch of garbage in 10 years.
No.
So-
So, yeah, take a look at it though.
Yeah, it's pretty neat,
Getaway.
actually, if you look at the site.
Yeah,
They're pretty
yeah.
cool looking, yeah.
Look into it.
It's the maintenance on them and the long range effect.
So,
Do we have some other locations where they are, anything
it's
local?
all on their website, so.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
California.
You haven't,
I don't
you haven't
remember.
seen anything?
West
I
Coast
haven't
is
seen any,
definitely.
just pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of them, so.
yeah, okay.
I'm not in an urban area, so I don't have.
No, you don't have that big stress on you.
Outside of what Florida may cause. And one other thing, this is a request. I've been after all the various commissions to make sure all their minutes are up to date. I believe your regular minutes are all up to date
Yep.
because of all of Sharon's hard work.
Yep.
But all the special meetings that you had, the joint meetings,
Mhm.
and maybe one where you were taking minutes,
Yep,
are not on
I'm there.
there, so those
I
need to
got
get-
that today.
Okay,
I
so
got
that
word
needs-
today on that one.
All right, so, please bring those, get those in the records, and, I mean, some of them may be that there was no meeting, but that also has to be indicated on the, thing, that there's no meeting, because people are curious about stuff going on, so we're trying to make sure all
Yeah.
the stuff is out there for people to see, so if you could address that at the
We'll-
soonest.
We'll investigate that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And, all right, economic development person over here, do you have anything you'd like to add? What's
Yeah, you
going on
guys
in your office there?
Right, you have the tax incentive program on there, but that was,
We were gonna look at that to see if we could make any changes in that, if we could offer anything. That's state statute kind of governs this.
Right.
And we wanted to see if there was any other options
Interested
that
in
the
that.
town
I mean,
had
they have
that we
those
could
beautiful
offer,
fields out there in the back,
that
which
would be within
great
state
location
statute.
to do
And,
weddings and,
so,
and I think that,
you know, there's
Connecticut-
basically our
I've had
three
conversations
categories
with
that are
Connecticut
in there.
Landmarks, and
And
that's certainly
is
one
there
of their
anything
areas
else
that they're
that's,
interested in.
Possibly available.
So I
have to
think
look
there is
and
some
see.
interest
I mean, I know we're
in
looking
doing
at
something
the,
there.
we have to find out
Connecticut
through the
Landmarks is certainly
selectmen,
making a big
board
investment
in
right now.
regards
They're
to whether or not they're gonna
rebuilding
take up
their,
the farm
the barn that has been
building
falling down for
tax
years.
incentive,
And
that would be the
it's
newest one that
actually,
we could add to that
they poured
list.
concrete down there in the last few weeks.
There's
and,
quite a few on our
They're
list
gonna
that
build a new
we've brought up
building.
in a
and,
couple of previous
and
meetings that we've gone through.
They are quoting
They're in-
everything in
I
their
believe I gave you guys
magazines, and it's a
all that.
$500,000
Through
worth of
our
improvement
existing
that they're gonna
tax
make to that
incentive
property.
program, or
No,
something
no,
else?
just the
a
other
huge,
programs that are
investment, and,
available.
uh,
through- yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
And they've gotta
Yeah,
find a
so
use.
what I was looking
There's
at
gotta
is
be,
the
when you
tax
have that kind of an
incentive
investment
program
in
that
a
we have on
property,
the books.
Three-tiered program,
somebody's gotta
yeah.
come up with a use for
That
that property, and
Is
so I
that
think
to
that,
the max
we
of
need to
what,
be at the table and
state
offer
statute
what we
will
think is
allow
fitting
towns to
for the
offer.
area
I
and
can look into
what we
that.
think is
No
fitting
idea,
for
but
the
I imagine
neighborhood.
it is, but
Because I
I'll
think we
look.
have to be
If you could
extremely
just look at that and
cautious
see if
as
there's,
to, what
whether it's
we might propose
dollars,
in anything that's,
percentages, or
let's say
other types
Petticoat
of
Lane
building.
South. and,
One of the
see
things
what
I'm
we could
thinking
do.
is,
But,
can we offer
so anyway,
anything
we'll
additional
kind of
when
keep
we're working with
you up to
this
date
village
on
up
what
there? Is there
I
something
hear when I go to these. I try to go to as many of these
And so that if-
meetings when they're
I'd like to
doing
put
the
some
plan of
things
conservation
together,
and
you know,
development,
the
because
Main
it's,
Street program, our own
it's
tax
kind of
incentive
interesting
program.
stuff.
So that we could
and it's
show
also gonna give us a lot
owners
of,
that this is what
basically
available out there
information
if
as
they
to
wanted to
what
make
somebody from
further
the outside
investments.
sees when they walk around
Yeah.
East Haddam, which is
Promise
always,
that
I
we
love. I love to have somebody else look at it.
You know, if they left
And,
the old buildings, you'd be in
and
much
certainly,
better shape.
Yeah.
But
the other
yeah,
item
put
that
up.
they brought up and is to
So, I know
look
that
for grants
there are
to do
other
the sewer
programs, but
line,
they're
and bring
more
the sewer
for
line
having
up to the
older
four
buildings.
corners.
So these
But
buildings
you
How
can't
old
do
do they
it
have
without,
to be? How long do we have to wait?
They can't be older than
because the
nineteen
dollars,
seventy
Yeah.
that are built, so yeah.
you can't get enough out of a
Although they're
return out
50
of it.
years.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But
those
now
are-
it's 50
But
years.
it's in
Those are
here,
considered
they,
older buildings now,
Yeah.
especially
It's
like
one of the
Bristol.
things that they
Those
have
are-
marked
those are
to
older
be
buildings.
something
Yeah,
that we
those
should be
are- I
looking
mean,
into.
The ones that
and
they're,
seeing
the
if
ones
it
that are
is
on the books
possible
right now
to
that
do.
I'm aware of are,
That
you know,
would
historic.
also be something
You know, that
that
have
would,
to, you know,
there'd be a lot of players
preserve
involved in
the
that.
Yeah.
to do
historic
something
nature
like
of such buildings.
Yeah.
But it's,
If you were
it's
dealing
something
with-
We had
that
to preserve these buildings. so
somebody
we
who
could
comes
serve-
in
not
from
serve
the
us well,
outside
but they-
looks at it and says
But, I
that,
mean, I think.
Not like
That's
the old
something we
stone
should
mill
be-
building. Now, if we had the
Yeah,
stone mill
exactly.
building
So
still there.
what I'd be
that
looking
one we
for
could
is
work
after
with.
we put
Right.
some of our documents together,
But I
that
will
we
check
make
to
up
see if
some
there's
kind of a
anything further that we
report.
can do.
See if there is
to
anything we
Yeah.
can
send
do, and
to
if there isn't,
P&Z
then fine,
so
we're,
that
then
they
we're
have a
gonna
good idea as to
basically
what this
see what we
commission
can
would
work
like
with
to
with
see.
what we got.
And,
Yeah.
But if there is
so
anything
from,
else out there,
you know, what
let's
I know and
be
what we
known,
share around the
and,
table,
and
maybe we can
equally,
put something
if there's
together
any,
that'll.
you know.
I think what we have right
anything
now
special we
is
can do
fine,
zoning
but I think we need
wise,
to
or,
just
you know, to make it
tweak it a little bit to
an area
update
that,
it to
we don't wanna
today,
use that word
rather
polite,
than what we saw.
but something where
Well, I
we could
think
use
one
an
of the
area.
things, I think one of the
2
things we
years
need to do is, as, and I think
and we
we
had
talked about
gotten
this, is
into
we need
the
to look
whole
at
sewer
Ludus in
and,
a bigger,
and I think
bigger
that,
picture than just the plaza that's there.
there was
You know, and I
a
think
joint
with-
committee
within that
of
plaza
planning
across
and
the
zoning and
street,
EDC who
looking
got
at,
into that
the lumber
and looked
yard
at
as
the
being part of it,
viability
looking at
and basically
across the
came up
street
with what the
from,
costs are, and they're actually
the
using
plaza
the
where,
costs
you know,
that,
where
EDC
Ludus
and
Barbecue
P&Z
is, I mean,
joint
that
committee
whole
came up
area
with.
really needs to be
And,
looked at.
but they said
Similarly
basically,
to what we're doing
you've
with
gotta
the
do it with
village.
grants.
I mean, we're looking at the village, we're not looking at just that
I think
2.5
almost
acre,
every place
2.1
you gotta have
acre
grants in order to
of
do
land
it.
that's,
And,
you know, that they're bringing across the.
Deep River
lake,
has
where
done
they're bringing a plan
fabulously
across
with,
for the whole village.
Well,
So I think we need
touring
to
a
do the
lot
same thing
down there
for
and,
Ludus.
Well,
We
they-
could do.
and you've got that other site
doing-
over there.
doing very,
on
very
the other
well
side
there.
of,
Um,
Barbecue, I mean, that's 2.5
Also,
acres.
just to
give you a little
prime
heads
piece
up,
of real estate.
the,
So, and I
State of
think that
Connecticut
is
is
what
going to be
planning and zoning has in
repaving,
mind with
Yeah.
the committee.
Route
And I think that
82,
if we can
everything
show,
from the Four
you know,
Corners
some,
south going down
what are the,
to
all the options
Headline,
we
Four
got that we can
Corners.
throw on the
So,
table? Do we have
that
some
whole
tax
stretch in
incentive
there
things?
is,
Do we have some,
they're planning next
something we
year
can
to
tap into for some
repave that whole
planning
roadway
there?
down.
And see if
So,
we can't draw
on
up
top of
something, 'cause
our
we do.
new
We need a-
bridges, we're
we
gonna
need a
have
master
new
plan for
pavement.
roads. And, we can
all the way down.
And equally, exactly what you
that's,
said, not
a
just
big-
limited to,
You know, the two buildings, let's look at the whole area, what we could do. Certainly Palmer Road is very much a.
That's,
part
no,
of
that's
that.
zoning stuff there, basically.
all right,
the
so if you
sewers
could
would
just
be
look into that and
basically
report
around
back
the-
to us at our next
probably the
meeting if there is any
industrial area
changes we can make,
and around
or
the
if there
four
is
corners,
anything
and
that
but
we
it has
wanna
to go somewhere
consider.
in order to take it.
Let's go from
Shagbark, whatever they built
All
out
right,
there, they may
tourism
need.
committee is,
Beyond the industrial park, don't
yeah.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Anybody
certainly,
have anything
and again,
they
landmarks would
like
love
to
to see it,
discuss?
I'm sure.
Business expos
They,
on
they
there.
would like to have
Pardon me?
a sewer line to hook into.
Do you need any
But,
information on that?
I don't
that
think
was
there's
just- that was
anybody
kinda
even
something
saying
else.
what it would be
Right in
yet.
there.
I think we're
Alright.
just looking at it as
Yeah, I know.
it's
I know,
getting it up the hill.
Mike
That's
told
the-
me that
that's the
he
thing.
had,
And,
in the
Right.
last
that's where
meeting,
what you were referring to.
brought forth these magazines, as to, if this was
Yeah, that
something
was what
you
it was
guys
looked
were
at
interested
before.
in doing. I don't know what.
So, and it went back to money.
Or what you guys
You
thought
can't
of
do it
this.
without heavily grant.
Actually tell me what the.
Yeah,
Dollars
I
just
looked at
can't be
it
produced
and.
out of that much
I felt
flow.
like the cost
Out of the
factor
flow that
was
could come out of the
probably more
four
than what
corners, you
we
can't
could,
justify the cost.
don't
Do it
really
this
have
time.
anything in
Yeah.
our budget
And,
for it.
so
And I thought the
until,
cost
you
was
know,
a little bit
basically
higher than what we would
EDC
be
or
able
somebody
to
goes
get
out to
out
try and find grants to do some
I
of that
liked
stuff.
what the five towns were doing.
That's what it
That,
would,
I
and
thought
that's
was a
what
good
they were
investment,
proposing in
and,
the plan of
this
conservation
looked kind of
development.
heavy with
that
dollars to do
Somebody go out
what
and
we
try to
could
see
get
if they
out of
can,
it
what
for
grants
our
are out there and
business.
what,
But,
the
I'm
possibility
only
might
bringing
be
that up
of
'cause that's
bringing that.
Yeah.
sewer line.
Got Mike's
Yep.
calling card on it.
Yep,
so we're gonna look it up.
that
and I'm
area,
certainly
but
willing
depending
to,
on if
you know,
if
look at what
Shagbark
Mike might
was,
have on that.
depending on
But
what
I
they
think
did,
that,
you know, that could be a
until some
lot of square
dollars,
footage in there. And,
look more
so
attractive. I
that
think
would
it
be
hard
something
to
that would certainly
justify.
have an effect on whether
Yeah,
it's
plus,
feasible to take
if,
it to.
I'm not sure where they.
So I think, you know,
magazines.
there's a few things in the card game here.
It's just
and,
through Shore Publishing.
But it's one of those things
Whereas,
that, you know, this is
website,
activities for the next 10 years.
no, Explore Committee,
So
but
it's got a big window
it's
to
gonna
it
get
to look at.
a whole lot more
But,
play. than-
all right, next on the agenda
But
is
also
Like a sales
picking a
catalog.
business
It
for
does
the
look
January
like a box
business
to
of the
me.
month.
Yeah.
I think
We've
that
been requested to get more.
Sue and I
copies
have
of
talked
our,
about this and have an idea. Sue, would you like to?
Visitors
On
guide.
on the list, right now, we've got iPark,
Yeah.
who we talked about till spring.
But
We've
anyways,
listed
yeah,
some new
visitor
businesses,
guides,
we've
I
listed
took another
Shagbark
whole
Town
case,
Tavern,
the
Two
last
Wrestling
case
Cats,
that we have, I
Middlesex
believe,
Medical, People's
down
Dental,
to
Staley's,
Westbrook,
and then Nathan Hale Pharmacy,
Actually,
and
the
Bob and I
people that
had
are
some
asking for it are
conversation.
Darien.
And
So,
we really think it would be kind of nice
I
to
think
maybe
what they did in the last
posthumously
case is I didn't go to
recognize
Darien
Nathan
for
Hale
the
Pharmacy
first
at this
case. I brought
time for
one
what
to-
they've done and what
I
they've
brought one to,
contributed, kind of in the name of Jack as a
Stonington, and I
remembrance,
brought
and
the other
kind
one to
of,
Westbrook, and I
just
think probably they
a way to
took
put some,
maybe half
you
of
know,
it or whatever, and
EDC
they-
behind it
they
and some,
transferred them over
attention
to,
to, that we really
to
appreciate
Darien.
all that
So
that business
Darien is asking
has
for
done
it.
and is
So
doing for
that's
this
kinda
town
cool.
and stuff.
So,
So
like I said, I
There is
dropped off
such
the
an
next
important
case,
business
and
for
I
this
imagine they're gonna
community.
split it
And,
off and, you know,
and I
bring some
think
over
that we need
Darien,
to
and
recognize
they're
that, you know, obviously
sharing
there's a
some
change
things.
of
So
management
we're
coming
getting some
here.
play on those things, and,
Oh, yeah.
We
I
wanna
think
let
what we
them
need to
know
do, though,
that the
is
community
next year, for
supports
this coming year,
what they are
when we print the
doing.
new one, we'll
And,
probably have to print a few more.
certainly we want to
because
just
I got the request
give them some
beginning of
support.
December.
And so
So
I thought
I'm
that,
thinking,
and
you know what,
Sue,
that needs to be,
The castle is
brought it
looking
up
for
that,
more, too.
that basically,
Okay.
I thought that would be a nice
Uh,
way in which to
I have a
let
few
them
left,
know
but
that,
whatever.
I'll
we
check my
recognize
office.
the
Mike might have
contribution
some
that
too.
Jack has made
I know
to this
he
community.
had a case of
See if
it.
I have any.
What was it,
I had a
37
case for-
years or something? I mean, he's,
Oh, you do?
I'll move
Okay,
that.
so we could get those over to the castle,
Yeah.
because we should have them
Nathan Hale
local.
Pharmacy.
But I think honestly, they might be doing, and unfortunately,
Right, and,
something like
uh,
that, we don't know
I
what
think we
that's
couldn't do
doing
it to
for
a more
us.
deserving.
You know what I mean? Other than the fact that people are
organization.
taking them, which
Yeah.
is
All
good.
those in
And
favor
the
of
fact that
making,
Darien is empty
aye?
Aye.
is even better.
I think
You know,
that
but I
one's
know a
one I
lot of
think we
places
could make
are
it
not. I don't
a
know if you guys
unanimous
have that.
decision.
And then just the last one on the same
I've had
is
some
the
here at
sign
the
for the new
hall,
businesses.
And they keep
I went to
disappearing.
EMP,
Anytime I have,
local
like,
business,
25 of them
right
in
next
the
to
front
between
hall, but
Davinci and
If
Griff.
we're taking them.
And he gave me a lesser quote than I had last
You know,
time.
that's good, but.
And
Yeah.
then it was
Yeah,
about
we'd like to get
$45
them
above.
into that safer,
And then I
little
asked him to,
surrounding
if he could
area.
do it a little bit bit less.
And I
So
know
I'm
the
gonna just
train's
pass
out.
these to Ralph
Yeah,
to
train
look
was talking
at.
about that.
But we're still working on that, getting a
I
sign
think we might need to,
with
you know,
the
beef up
wavy
our
flag
order
sign
on
that says, the
I
EDC
don't
welcomes a
know,
new
maybe
business.
couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple thousand.
Yeah,
Sort of.
so,
We'll
yeah.
add a couple thousand.
And I just wanted to bring up one other thing while we're talking about Nathan Hale. Emmett and I have had a conversation about doing something for Jack. And what was suggested is to do a
Yeah,
bench
there's a
somewhere up in the
highway
welcome
visitor
center.
centers. They all opened up.
Park up
this
there in
past-
Moodus. And to.
I don't think when they finally, yeah, I was gonna
do
say
something
May,
that would,
June, something like
I'd
that.
like to see us
And I brought, like I said, two
EDC be
cases
behind
out
that and
to
also
them,
to have
at their request.
the business
and again in
associations,
December.
would like to pull them into it and see if we couldn't jointly do that.
Should be
And
north.
Basically.
I don't think there's a south.
Yeah,
I
Westbrook
contacted
is
the
north.
family to ask them whether that
I'm
would be
trying to think.
okay with them.
Darien's gotta
And,
be
and they
north,
were
and then
very
I'm not
pleased,
sure which
and
side of the
so
road,
they said that they would
the one
very
that's
much
on the
So memorial bench.
a memorial
That makes
bench,
sense,
yeah,
yeah.
and, so, is there support around the table that we kind of be the organizing, body to do that? And, just to recognize Jack as a permanent, sort of thing. I just think we've all had such, good relationships with visitors over a long, long period of time, and he was such a generous man. And individually with everybody who walked in the store. So, he was just a great guy. So, then, I'm just gonna take that as
I don't know.
consensus
I don't-
and that
you know,
we'll
it's
work
funny,
together
you know,
and
I also,
basically
I
see if
did
we
take a
can
box
organize
up, or
that.
took half the
And
box
I'm
up
gonna
to the
contact
Big E
Jess
as well
and just
this
make
year.
sure that, I'd
So,
like to have the business
you know, and I've
association.
looked,
so
you know,
it'd
I've
be
been looking
two of
here,
us.
and I have to say
And,
that
A joint venture.
science centers,
and
aquariums,
to,
things like that, they
and
have
I
them,
would
but
like to,
I don't remember
when we,
seeing many towns
basically,
have them.
but we've been doing that for years. Have a little,
Yeah.
Man, we've been doing that,
program or something.
And even in this
going on
5-town
there
group,
and
like, we
invite
get
the
together and we
people
show them our
to
thing, and they're like, wow, that's really cool. I mean, it doesn't sound like
It'd be
other
nice if it was
towns are
EDC
necessarily
and
doing
the
a lot,
business
you know.
association, that did that.
The other thing is, and I
And,
keep bringing these things
So
up
that would
from,
be, that'd be great,
Gettysburg,
and,
but,
so let's just
actually,
plan on
we
that,
actually
and,
went to
and then
St.
we'll
Michael's,
see if we can get that together.
which
I'm sure
is
it's
in
something we'll
Maryland.
probably be doing in
I think
April
that's
or
where we
something
were.
like that.
But there was a
Looks
brochure
like we're
that
not
said
gonna be
Christmas
digging a lot
in
of holes in
St.
the ground
Michael's,
very
and it
shortly.
had, a weekend, it was like,
But,
some
all right, we
pictures
have,
of it, and
some
it
new
had all
business.
kinds
I'll
of
try to move it
activities
along
that
here a
were
little
going
bit.
on in various places
Basically,
what was going on. And it's a beautiful little brochure. I
the
meant to bring.
building department.
But what it basically
Kind of
did
the
was
same
it
things
was
that
in,
go
you know,
on
various
in
places,
Chatham, we have in the building
advertising,
department.
you know,
I don't
events that are
know
going on.
if
And
you've
I
gotten
know
any comments,
tried
but
to do
I'm
this
getting a
12
lot
doors
of
thing to
comments
turn
from
all the
people
events
out
that
there
we're
that
doing here in
we,
East Haddam
we don't
this
have
12
access
doors
to a
thing,
building
and I think that
official.
confused
The
everybody.
inspections
But,
are at 6 in the
we do
morning
have a
or at
lot
6 at
going
night.
on
And,
East Haddam,
that,
for the
this
holidays,
is
and I
not
think,
working
you know,
and
maybe
what's
what we
going to
should
happen.
do collectively, collaboratively, is put together a brochure that
Well,
says
what's
Christmas in
that?
East Haddam,
Emmett, what's-
and just put all of the events in one brochure, and then put these brochures in
With the Board of
places like,
Selectmen?
you know, Darien and Rowayton and, you know, Stonington and all that kind of stuff, to bring people to our events, you know, whether it be the stroll or whether it be,
Are
you
we
know,
actually
the
saving money having
you know,
a part-time
the,
building inspector?
thing in the library with the Lions and their auction or whatever it is, the seasonal stuff, because, you know, other places are doing this and, you know, working with some pretty cool things, you know.
No, and I think that that's a way, maybe we can even get them in
You're
our,
dealing with it in your office.
visitors guide.
We're dealing it out. in-
With, you know, a special.
I get
something
page
goes on
for
at Christmas.
holidays, yeah.
Yeah, that Christmas, there's something going on around.
Hmm.
And,
You're
Add
getting
that
feedback.
in.
Maybe that's another
I'm getting
something
hit
we
with
can
the ball.
add into, you know, the page.
What do we see as being the timetable on doing something here?
I mean, if we're putting these out, and
Maybe a little.
they are certainly well received by everybody that I've talked to, whether I'm on the railroad trains or where we are, they're very well received. And where in the other towns, they look at what East Haddam has, they say, this is really nice, and they don't have anything that nice. And so I think that EDC has kind of come up with a pretty nice brochure there. And I think that's what,
because it's
certainly,
nice, it's a nice piece of literature. from what
So-
I hear
All
out
right,
there.
so we will do that,
And
though,
I'm,
when we're
I'm sure that
putting
you're,
together our
people are
budget.
stopping into your office,
Put
I
a little bit more
understand,
money in
that,
there, 'cause we do
are
clean
letting
that,
you know
line item out
that
with
it's
those,
difficult to
visitors guide,
operate
so
this
we'll
way.
put a little
Things have
bit more
picked
in
up.
there
We're
to
far
up
busier
that to
than we were.
2,000,
A lot more
and,
going on.
because I think we
And as I
get
said, there's a lot
great
more going on
exposure
now, so-
for the dollar we spend on those.
People are taking them.
Well, and I think they're just good
I,
value.
I would just say
For what they
encourage
cost
as
us and
soon
for
as
what,
possible that
the
we could get
exposure we
somebody
get,
during daytime
I
hours,
think we're
during
getting
business
good-
hours.
Good dollar value.
To
out
do
of
inspections,
that.
because it's very difficult,
All right,
to,
anything else?
I'm sympathetic with you.
yeah, and,
All right.
all right, then, you know,
Um,
maybe at our next meeting,
subcommittees for,
you could just come back and
EDC
give us a little
and P&Z,
update as to, you know, where
basically,
that's
that
going
is
and,
going- both
and
of
have a
these
little
are kind of
better
the same
idea as to
thing,
where we're going with that one.
with
But I
doing
think it's
this,
one that's,
looking at the zoning, on
real
the south,
important to take into.
part of Town Street.
The transfer station.
And so
Um,
P and Z.
Certainly that's been a lot of,
That's gonna be on their
Board of
agenda for the
Selectmen meetings
14th.
and discussion on it,
So
and,
They're going to
and
basically
I
be
guess,
putting together,
there's
either
certainly,
the entire P and Z
the
committee
businesses
would be
out there who are
meeting
very
with
concerned about what's gonna
EDC
happen
as a
with that,
joint meeting,
and where it's gonna go,
to
and how it's
review
gonna
that,
go, and when it's gonna
with
go.
Mike.
And I guess if
And I
you
think we
could,
need to
the Board of
coordinate
Selectmen and
that,
yourself,
with
however,
him a little
could
bit.
give
If you
us
could give us some
a little
dates
idea so that
prior
we
to the
can
14th,
kind of
I
talk
intend
to, I
be
know
at that
you've
meeting.
been talking to
And
businesses
if we
that
had some
are,
dates, I think that would be
you know, we
helpful
have
for
our,
P&Z.
it's a very small group
So
out
to have
there,
P&Z
and they're
EDC,
worried.
Mike Zuber.
Yes, so it would be a
Very
joint
brief
meeting,
one. Right now,
both
the
boards,
backside of it, the
to meet
hopper
with,
is closed.
with Mike and go
Gates
over,
on it,
that
uh,
proposal.
the
And,
hinges
uh,
broke.
I
I
think that's,
closed it.
basically,
Some
that's
say
the way,
don't need what
Do you have
happened
a
down
copy
below
of it,
happened. A guy
that
fell in.
proposal?
They don't know
Yeah,
whether he
he
was
had
crushed
it
to
at our
death or he had a
meeting
heart
here.
Our
attack.
last
I know,
meeting,
I didn't
you
know.
get your-
Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be cool,
we'll get
thank
some
you.
more.
We
And,
closed the backside.
So,
We have a plan for reverse
from what,
flow.
You want
I
it.
talked with the chairman, and, so he kind of, at first, he thought it was just gonna be a couple of members, and then he said, you know, maybe we better do is have the whole
Questions about
commission.
whether or not you're.
And then
paying
everybody's
fair
gonna be
share
up
or
to
you
speed,
pass
and I
it
feel
off on
much
your
better
neighbors.
having the whole commission. But
Questions
having a
about
joint
what's
meeting,
going on
have
to begin with.
him do one presentation, he can tell us what, you know, the proposal is, and what they would be doing, what the costs are, and then everybody's gonna know, what we were talking about. So after the 14th, I think we'll have that set, and if you could just talk with Mike and see, what some dates are that might work, and,
First that,
and maybe we
Beth
can
has asked me
talk
to
with
hold-
Jim
I wanted to
Ventris
do it
as
in
to
December.
some times that,
Beth said, please hold off.
for
We'll put
P
the
and
new
Z
door on the
when
backside
they-
of it.
February?
We're gonna weld the new hinges up
I
at the
would
same
venture
time.
to say,
We're gonna hold
they're
off
talking
solid
about,
than it
talking
was.
about it on the 14th, so.
January.
I would say late in
So
January.
you're gonna
or
basically go
first
to
part
the
of
back of
February.
the building now.
No, we're gonna
What
come
we'd be
in.
looking for.
we're gonna
Same
back
place
down.
we do now,
And
but
that's-
just, we're gonna take the first driveway rather than the second.
Between the hopper and the recycling bins.
Yep.
And,
Go in there. I'm writing a
the
series of
proposed
articles
expansion of the
here.
industrial area,
These
that was
have
basically
Dave on it.
Shagbark.
Discussing
They have kind of
how we
put
got
that on
where we are.
hold, so I think we'll probably take that off the agendas now,
Alternatives that we're gonna
until,
do, what
I
we
see
can
some
do
more
just
activity from,
by imposing it. We
basically
can reverse
Shagbark
flow,
looking to
having
do
a better check,
expansion
making
there.
sure we're weighing everybody
You
in.
talking about down by the power line or their?
That was,
immediate
that was the
building?
power line,
Okay.
that was the power line
Bag
stuff.
system.
And, no, the other stuff, they have their building permits, and,
Very, very
Ready to
they're
go.
ready to go,
Smart,
and,
save money.
so, yeah, they got,
recycle trash.
they did all the architecture on it, they've got their
Right
architectural
now, we're
plans.
recycling.
Looks very
about
nice,
4,000 tons a
nice
year,
addition,
about
to
1,000.
that area, and it's
We get
around
$5
5,000 square feet,
recycled.
so,
Pay
it's a
$70
good size, and
a ton
it fits
for
in
everything
there
that goes into that
perfectly,
hopper.
so I think that was,
And you take a
that's
look
gonna be a
at
nice
the
addition
bottles,
to the
there's
town.
cans, all sorts of stuff.
new business, the Route 82, oh,
Pictures
okay,
you get
taking
into
this
it
to the Board of
by
Finance.
selling bags,
That is after the
everything goes to
presentation
hopper, has
with
to be in
P
the
and Z.
cheap,
I
a
think
buck
then
and a half
it'll
a
be
piece.
definitely a case where
Everything
the
that
two
goes into
boards
the,
will take a look at
recycling
it,
is free.
see the dollars we're
The idea
talking
is to
about, and
get people to recycle
see if we get an affirmative
Monitor what's going on.
to take this to the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen
my
to
train of thought
get
here.
approval to
In any
do some
case,
basically planning
That
work
is something,
down
we talked to
there
our lawyers
and,
about it.
and basically
And
come up
Roberts
with
has come
some
back and said,
ideas.
well, you can
Certainly what we saw
probably
at the
just
meeting
do
there
it.
between
And just say,
the
okay, now
open
we're
space
selling that.
ideas and
Takes
mixing
200
that
signatures,
with,
you go to town meeting.
Basically, the open space and
That's
the
why the
utilization
articles,
of
to
the
explain what's
existing
going on,
open
to
space,
persuade
but,
people, so
needing
we
to
go
come
to
up
town
with
meeting
parking
and
and,
have people agreeable to
and
the idea.
the
Let's
sidewalks
try
and
it
all
for
that sort of thing,
Yeah,
because,
so
there was
we
kind
have
of
a
a lot
commitment.
involved in it.
And by ordinance, this goes all the way back to when we built the hospital.
So we'll take that up
Originally,
at our
the
next meeting.
waste area.
Nominations for the business of
Haulers,
the
and
month.
they care exclusively.
Can I just
Saturdays.
interrupt on that for just
Nothing
one quick
comes from out
second?
of town.
We're, I've been trying to deal
By
with the
ordinance, they
East
have the
Haddam
right to
News on this
deposit
to
that
try and get it
material
more
in our
timely in the
hopper.
newspaper,
Yeah.
and it's been
You
difficult.
could probably go to town meeting.
So I had a
and try to change
conversation
that
with Dave
if you tried
Hallahan,
before, it
and
doesn't
first of all,
fly.
Geneva was supposed to be in
They send out
for
letters, and all of a
December
sudden
at the
they
beginning of
go,
the month.
You know what's
And
wrong.
I was trying to get it in, trying to get it in,
And
trying to
they
get it
have
in,
agreed that
wasn't
we
able
go
to
to
get it
back
in
system.
time until like the last
They
week, and I
will
was like, well,
cease
that's not
to
gonna help
use
them
the
at all.
hopper.
So,
I have agreements from both.
we're gonna
highways
push them
and
off to
Jamestown.
January,
Okay.
okay, and I'm trying to make sure that they get in there for
And
January.
we talked about.
Early.
They said,
Well,
if you
the
go to back
next one is
system,
January 9th, so that's
you're
the
gonna
earliest
have
I
to
can
help
get it
us
in
with
there.
typical fees for a few months,
So hopefully that'll
and
be in
then
there,
we'll
and
be
I
on
know
our
you
own.
already said that you wanted to do the curtain
That said,
construction.
Well, we can
across
do it
the
in
river
February.
with Mira.
Okay, so
We'll do
that's,
that for next month.
All the
Right.
rest
I
of
mean,
Middlesex
because
County.
I'd like to make it so that they have their month.
exactly, so that's what I'm trying to do, is to get it so that we can get it in at the beginning of the month. And so we need some more lead time, because, and it's not necessarily getting the pictures taken or getting the copy, it's just getting the paper to save a spot. Now, we used to do this. We used to save spots for things that were coming up, but we have, new people doing things these days, and they don't like to save spots.
So we don't really
Well,
know
why
whether
don't
the
we make
recyclables
it
are
so
gonna be
that
worth
it's
anything,
the
because we don't know whether there's a market or
Second
not.
edition
Fingers
of
crossed.
the month.
There are
That
secondary
makes
markets.
sense?
Well, we'll try that, sure.
Well, I think let's
China.
reserve it, and they
Stuff
can
is
say,
too
we
dirty.
want the
Don't
second
really want it.
publication
My
that will
opinion,
have those
their own
businesses of the
internal
month.
economy.
They've been
is
so well
going now where
received.
they can supply
They
them.
have.
Everybody likes them,
They don't need our stuff.
they're, I think, really
I
good
got a nephew
publicity
up
for
in
the,
Juneau,
and,
Alaska.
and Geneva,
Worked for
that's,
Public
I
Works.
think, a
Great
great
Wow.
one.
Who knew that that was going on? I didn't know it was over there, and,
Fine place
just a
to take the
wonderful
nicest
addition.
sorted,
Right.
to
what was going on?
recyclables.
So
Just
my
in
question to you
case
guys
somebody
is
ever
that if
wanted
we
it.
could do the nominations for like the 3 months.
Bury
and that way
plastic
we have
out
plenty of
there.
time tonight, plenty of time to get the
Wow.
stuff
But
together,
it's glass.
and that they can have
Metal
it
seems
in
to be
their
okay,
funnel,
cardboard seems
so
to be
that
okay.
they already have it there, they know
Plastic,
how long
those
it's gonna be,
nice
they know what the pictures are,
children's,
and they can use as many
So
pictures
you
they
like
like
to
to
get
fill
this
space.
built up so that it's
Right.
there, ready to go.
So tonight, if you want, since
They don't
we
want
have
that,
them for
right?
February, can we
That
figure
always
out some
makes sense of it.
Well,
All
no,
of a
why
sudden,
don't we
no.
basically,
Can't-
let's
can't
come
use that
back
word.
with
So the-
maybe
the
you could make a
framework of
suggestion
what
of
you can
3
recycle is
more,
shifting
and we'll
up
bring
and
it up
down.
at our next
Great.
meeting.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah, I
take
know
a look at these 3, and we'll do this on a quarterly basis,
Yeah.
rather than every
they're-
meeting sort of thing.
Put the wood
So you
in
wanna
it,
give me
put
a
all
March
that
one,
stuff,
though,
but
and
they
then
don't
we
want
can
plastic.
work on the next one for
Connecticut, the state of
April and June.
Connecticut passed a law years
Anybody
ago.
wants to take
Does
Recycle.
anybody have somebody from
We are
March?
required to recycle tin cans.
Were we gonna do a
glass,
Kasner
cardboard.
curtain, seeing how you're both
Law
50
doesn't
years?
address
Were we
plastic.
talking about that?
I think it was it was passed early enough, so plastic wasn't a big player.
Yeah, he's 50 years, and it was funny, we went into business the same year.
So it'd be a nice little Valentine's Day story, the couple of guys, you know.
Yeah, I think we need to get the, maybe back to,
Maybe push that one up for
jewelry
March.
on that one. I think we need
Kurt-
veneer
Kurt
on
may want his
that
own
one.
month.
I don't know if
Oh.
it's a good idea or not to combine them.
Yeah,
Maybe it should be.
Might have
a
on some
remedial
month.
for one.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
saying
maybe we
maybe-
should just
maybe
make
you
it
have
for Mr.
March.
Curtin, we don't really need.
Well, we could do Kasner for
For
March.
March, yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh.
But I did
Ooh,
think
it'll
it was,
be.
very nice
Hey,
that,
Bag,
I mean, Curtin
The
was,
haulers are gonna be out of there shortly after that? What does that mean?
and,
If we go
They're
to the
gonna
bag
stop it.
system, it will
because
stop.
I didn't,
They will
I
start
knew he was
rolling.
right about the same
And
time,
they
and
do
then
whatever they
he-
wish.
we were within
They'll take
2
it
months
down
of
to,
each other
Essex,
when we actually
take it
filed
out
with the
to
town, and we went into
their
business.
trucks and their haul.
So
I
who
thought-
filed first?
He did,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was, I think it was.
Do we charge them a separate fee fee here to dump?
Yeah.
Why would they drive
All
forward
right.
then?
Alright, so anybody for
Right.
March, any suggestions for
Because
March?
if we're charging for
This
No,
that,
I just wonder, how do we
now there's a
address
fee
new
for going
businesses?
there.
Do we
We're gonna charge
recognize
them
them
too.
as they
It's
open?
better for them to do
And we
that.
got
Alright,
a
so you're
banner.
gonna impose a fee
Along
Bag
with, do
will-
we do
bag
anything in the news for I them?
couldn't understand why they
You go
just
to
leave it to
Salem,
be combined
you buy a
together.
little bag for 75
Or
I
cents.
mean,
if
we
we have a
could-
new
Bucket
business
hat for big one,
added
has
to
3 different
whatever's
sizes.
in there for that month.
Well, I mean, we could see if we could
Well, we
get
could
some
try
kind
it.
of, I
I
mean,
think they went cheap.
the
with
editor
bags,
of
'cause
the
big complaint
River
was the bags
East
were all breaking.
is a Colchester resident.
That's not a good way to get started.
Yeah, Colchester Business
Yeah.
Association.
So I've been
So
looking
he's
at
able to
weight
put
of
together a
bags
whole
in
business
various
page,
towns.
and I've
Yeah.
talked
You wanna
to
have
East
enough
Centerville
bags so it's
a number of
all
times
together.
about putting
Doesn't
together
create
some kind of
problems.
business thing, business
Yeah, there's a lot
corner
of
or
sellers
something,
used to do this, too.
where we could put that,
So there's a
you know,
legal
new
issue
business
as
of the
far as
month,
selling
you know, not a
bags
new
go?
business month, but, you know, new
Business of the month,
businesses,
yeah.
Do it, but we're gonna do it
you
in
know,
town.
whatever,
We're
something in
gonna
the
go
paper
and
that's
get
always
town
there,
support
business
to
corner,
do
whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we haven't like formulated
They're
that, so I mean, we can
alternatives.
talk to
The
them,
town
we
doesn't
didn't
go
have our
for
meeting
bags,
this morning,
so
but we can talk to them next week about that,
Well,
see what
haulers
we
are
can
gonna-
get in, you know, and to do something like that, but we're not,
Go to Essex?
we're not necessarily at this
Essex,
point
they go
addressing
I think we're
new
okay.
businesses per se that way.
They're not
Um,
bound by any.
Are we, I think a business of the month is somebody
So
who's
They're
been
gonna charge a hauling.
They're
fee and
established.
shipping fee?
established
Yeah.
and, you know, doing
I
things for the
can't
town,
imagine
et cetera,
that
et cetera,
they could drive
so.
all the way to
Yep.
Willamette.
But a new business, we
They
should, you
can't
know, yeah.
drive
we
to
should-
You should
Willamette.
welcome them.
we
They
should-
don't wanna do well.
Those small, those trucks are way too small.
So
The-
is it-
How about
The odds
the
are
HDA,
they
are they
go
doing
across
anything
the
for new
river,
businesses
yeah,
as they open?
The Essex?
We usually
South
approach
America.
them and have a conversation and welcome
that's the
them
odd
and then
thing.
let
They
them know
have
we
agreed that
exist,
they
and if
will
they
deal
wanna
with
join us, they can, we usually send out a
That,
letter,
you know,
like a
expensive
general letter,
Mars
letting them
doing
know,
Municipal
and
solid
sometimes we
waste
follow up
along
in
with
person.
bulky waste?
if we can keep
They
up
have
with it.
whatever it is,
Yeah,
there's
I
something
mean,
down
yeah,
there.
that's- I mean, ADC, I go out usually. Somebody's new in
We have-
business.
But there is a sign, right, isn't there like an, or
It's
maybe
not a
I'm,
new
I thought
business.
it just says welcome.
Yeah.
I thought there was.
By the
Oh, we have, I mean, we have
Oh,
our
yeah,
business
we
of
did
the
Yeah.
have
month.
one. No, but we also had an open, who was the last one that we put that on?
I
Down
feel
by
like
the
I know I
pizza
just
parlor?
saw it.
I'm just gonna have a
No,
conversation with.
the one in
Yeah,
Lower
when Da
Yard?
Vinci, when the new owners of Da
Yes.
Vinci.
Two major
That's where I
haulers in
last
East
saw it.
Haddam.
Yeah.
So we had that
I
out.
wanna make
or
sure
so.
that they are. 'cause
Might still be there.
Some of the conversations I had, they're very nervous.
And our other banner one, that is,
Plastic bags.
that is
That's
still
up
at
at Eddie's,
Eddie's.
yeah.
You're-
And of course, the
We had to put that
recyclable,
out
we
at
don't have
Geneva.
to put them
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, did they, excuse me, did barrels, they weren't really interested in having that here. But do you want?
You're right, you're
No,
right,
didn't want-
they
oh, that's
didn't
right,
want
because
it,
they didn't
you're
want to
right,
know that.
because they don't want anybody coming
Oh,
there.
right, they're not a
They just
storefront, that's
wanted
right.
to- Yeah,
Good catch.
yeah.
All right, I would like to move on here and basically, we've got we have a position open
I
on
was
this
very
board.
impressed with
And so it's as a regular
Yeah,
member.
But it's not,
And,
it's not open
and-
to the
and
public.
I would like
They
to.
don't wanna draw attention to their
No, it's not,
non-storefront.
so we'll just
Certainly
wait for
Irene
our
has,
next one.
Worked on this
Yeah.
committee and certainly would be very happy if she was a regular member of our board. And so I'm
So
gonna.
if everybody can think about maybe for our next meeting, if you
Yeah.
can give me a March one, that would be good, and then that way I
All
have
right,
plenty of
and,
time.
And then we're gonna come up with.
Although,
also
anybody
one
have
for
any
the
discussion?
Yeah.
This is a recommendation to
That
the
way
first
we'll
one.
have
This is a recommendation to the first
I'll
selectman.
give you guys a list of the ones that we did for last year, so that you
All right,
have
all those in
an
favor?
idea of who we
Aye.
gave it to already.
Opposed?
And then let's
And
see
then-
who
Look
we
at that,
think
you
would be-
passed unanimously. I guess we'll put that on there.
Vote.
Now they're tired.
Put a list together.
I was gonna say, you didn't vote, Irene.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Do we,
let's do that, and we're covered for the next 2 months.
this is what?
All right,
Cindy,
two things that are.
Oh, okay,
coming
there's
up,
just checks in here?
there's checks
at-
and bills.
Oh, no,
And
one
bills,
of them
okay.
is,
I will make sure she
basically,
gets it.
I've
Any
been
public
asked,
comment?
to
Rob?
see what, EDC could do to help, getting for drive-in windows.
Yesterday.
on the allowable uses in commercial zones.
I don't know if you're aware, but.
Basically, right now, they don't allow drive-in windows. And we have a business that's considering building a new building,
Mapping.
and they said they absolutely have to have a drive-in window.
In the area,
They would,
coordinating that with.
it would not look good if they didn't have a drive-in
Are they at
window
a
as far as
historic
applied.
region or area of town?
No, basically, I mean, we're just talking about commercial zones, that making it allowable in commercial zones. which-
How'd the
Anybody know
bank,
why we're
how'd the
not?
bank get a drive-in window? Special exception?
No, it was pre-existing.
Yeah.
Same
The one-
way with Chester
Modus?
was pre-existing,
the old National Bank of New England was pre-existing. And then they made up a rule that you couldn't have
hiking
it
in
dry.
the area.
And,
Not only will you
and I
see where
think
you
this
go
was
hiking,
the
but you'll
McDonald's.
also see places
Yeah.
where you
And,
can
but
food,
now we have other businesses that are saying, you know, that they want to, that it's a necessity for their
someone selling
business.
hiking gear,
And,
REI. or
and I think it
something
should
like
be
Something
that.
related here.
Anything related.
Yep.
And then, but there'll be various
That doesn't
layers, so
make
you
any
can do
sense
biking
anymore,
and
saying
then
you
there's a
can't
bike
have
shop in
private
Colchester, a couple bike shops around.
It
and
seems
there'll be
like
bikes
that's.
where the trails are.
What's the
Is this a brochure they're gonna make?
So this will be.
It was
Buildings
to get away from having a.
No paper product,
That was
Yeah.
what it was all about.
Potentially, but right, initially they're
so
doing it all
McDonald's will
online,
not
so
build
it'll be coordinated
a building
like.
that
I
isn't
think
right.
McDonald's will come
We don't want
somewhere
them.
where it's-
Sorry, no. I say no.
I'll tell you
There's
what.
my bias right there, no.
Okay.
Just putting it out there in case anyone's questioning.
Well, but,
So we'll have
those
links
So
and
what I was
coordinate points that I can
proposing,
use
think,
with the
is
visitor,
have
these
a
Haddam
letter
Visitors
from
Guide that we do.
economic
So we can
development,
interface those better than what we've done
the,
now. Okay.
Look into drive-in windows in all
Okay.
commercial zones, and make that an
So
allowed.
it's he said
I'd
it's
like to
branded
know more about what their
professional
current thoughts are on the subject.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Wonderful. I just wanna know what if they have thought about that recently, and if it's just a special exception thing that can be
Okay,
done, or
no.
if it's something that.
No, it's not
Yeah,
allowable yet.
no, I
not-
realize, but
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that could be changed to something where they apply for that
Um,
privilege.
Well, I think that that's.
Now, how
that's
can
kind of
we
up to
basically
them.
get
I
some
think we have
information
to
on the
simply
business?
say
I thought someone
We'd
maybe
like
already
to them
contacted
to address it and to look into it.
Simply from the
Okay.
point of
So then
representing
we
local
can-
businesses and saying, we've had people approach us, what do you think?
Yep.
Well, we-
I really wanna know what they think.
I think it would be
That's what
nice
want.
if it's
Well, I
both.
think
What their
that,
current thoughts are.
And
And
that
that's
way,
basically what we're trying
we
to
can
do.
get the
We're-
information to
because
make
all we
sure the
can do is
businesses
propose.
get on
We
here.
have,
So
we're
initially
just
it's
advisors,
just
that's
gonna
all
be.
we are.
Right.
And basically, we're the link from businesses
Right.
to, I don't care whether it's wetlands or P and Z or who. But I think that, let's get the conversation on the table, and then let's.
Do you know if that
So
business
will
that
you,
approached
like, our
you
time
also
frame is by
includes
April,
PNC
we'll
or
start
asked
redoing
to be
our
required?
They asked
guide, cause we're gonna be out
if they
again.
would do
And so,
it.
so you'll have stuff that we can utilize
I
by
think
then,
so,
maybe?
and
Okay,
you probably
perfect.
coordinate the whole thing.
Success or thing.
It's a case where they would rather see somebody else be that upfront person.
Got it.
And,
Is this a
Well, she
con?
lives right on the town line of Lyme and East Lyme, right there on.
let it come fall back on economic
I
development,
see,
not,
so you're
not an
buffered, okay,
individual
got it.
business. And I agree with that particular philosophy. I would
Oh.
like businesses to come
Maybe the
to
area.
us,
She works on
let
it.
us make the proposal, let us get it on the table.
Is this
and
basically a
then there is no
subcontractor that would be putting this
negative on
together?
it.
Is this a volunteer group?
To do something,
Part of,
yeah, so if we can be.
But she's the head of this court?
Through Pat Young,
to
basically.
get it on the
and
table, let's get it
coordinating
talked
committee.
about.
Okay.
And then see what we can.
Because members, Sumero's on it.
But if that's something that the board feels that you'd like me to do is, or basically we'll have Irene
I would
do.
agree with that.
All right, no,
Open the door
certainly,
for
that's all
business.
good news, and,
Well, and it
'cause I
makes
think
us
that's a nice combination, and
business-friendly.
this is
Yeah.
where we're
You
going.
know, we don't want somebody to
We
come in
gotta
and
basically sell,
get permits and
what we have.
business and then have to go for a special exception meeting to get part of that approved. I mean, it's just.
Or it's
It's
just
too-
a case where if
Consumes
if
too
you
much
can't
time.
have
Go for a
it,
hike, you're gonna
we
need a
don't
beer,
even- we're not
that's all there
even-
is to it.
Because there's some business-
Right, we'll have that.
get
We'll have that on
back to
Petticoat Lane, I think we're gonna have a lot of it.
I don't think so.
So, well, good, kinda keep
I
us
think
up to
there's
date
some
on that, and
businesses
anything
out
that
there
we
that
can
just
do,
Like I said, some of them
Yeah,
came
so
contact with
I
you.
think we need to get it on the
I'm not
table
sure how they're reaching
and
out.
let's get it talked about, and then if there's a proposal.
all right, well,
I
we'll
think then we
certainly
can
be
come back and say
interested
we
to
support the
participate in
proposal, or
that.
we would like to see the
Yes,
proposal with some
that
changes.
I'm sure
sounds
there
like
will
a
be
nice
exceptions
combination.
where it won't be applicable.
All right,
That's why
anybody else
plenty of
have
those
anything
in
they'd
town
like
like
to
to
bring before the board tonight?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I don't know that all
I
will
move
fly.
Make a
adjourn this
motion, we
meeting?
adjourn.
No, but I think
Sure.
that,
I would really love.
I'll second your motion.
All right,
All right.
very good.
all we're doing is let's.
Thank you very much.
Who's on it?
I'd like a motion on that.
Let me turn off the.
Yes, if you could.
Then I'll.
So we'll be writing a letter to P and Z asking them to look into. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Nay? All right.
set. Also, the other thing that's coming up before P and Z is multifamily uses in resort zones. What's being applied for is to allow, did you read the legal notice, anybody, on this?
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it? Okay, in the resort zones, to allow, right now, the only multifamily you can build is 4 units to a building, that's the max. And the application that's before P and Z is to allow 16 units in an existing buildings. So this is going to be on. Pardon?
In an existing building?
In an existing building.
So it's an application for something that's currently in town and they want to expand it to.
They want to take basically a building that's an existing building in the resort zone and make that allowable to have 16 units within one building. And so I didn't know whether this board would like to, I think that it's a public hearing. So it's a public hearing gonna be on the 14th of January. And whether this board thinks that's something we should do, shouldn't do.
Well, we'd have to know the facts, you know,
Yeah,
is it
Yeah,
a chicken coop, is it a chicken coop, and is it gonna be, $900 a month per unit? 4 bedrooms in each apartment, what are
The
specs on this?
resort zones don't have architectural approval.
Yeah.
The commercial zones do. Rob, do you know something?
So I can fill you in on this if you.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
good.
It's not a secret.
No.
The conference or assembly hall at Banner, which is
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
right.
a gathering center, much like River House was on the other side in Tylerville. They're looking at turning the banquet facility there into 16 units, 1 or 2 bedroom units, the smallest 500, and I don't remember how big, 1,200 maybe for the bigger ones. And there are 16 units there, and they're apartments.
They're rentals.
They're rentals, they're apartments, they're not condos.
Okay.
So that's in a nutshell
Right.
what they're looking at doing.
Well, it sounds like it can handle it, you know, they've got plenty of parking, it's private, does it impact the road, Banner Road or
So,
North Moose Road,
there's-
that's another
Yeah, those are the
subject.
questions that all have to be answered.
But it certainly is an isolated area up there that,
So
and they got plenty of drainage up there, right? They can handle that.
Who's doing the application? Is it the new
Banner.
group?
It doesn't say that in the ad, and I question that because,
I think it's the 2 guys, isn't it?
It-
2
well,
guys
it's-
that still own.
that the owners
Banner.
of Banner Corporation,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Anthony and Frank.
But it looks like
Westchester
the wording in the ad looks like it's being proposed by planning and zoning, and I don't think that's who's proposing
No,
it.
no,
It isn't, yeah.
No.
But that's not the way that ad looks.
no. I didn't see that, but it's been brought
Who
forward
created it?
by these for a hearing
Yeah.
for consideration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, should we voice our opinion, or should we maybe not have an opinion on it, and then let's see where it goes? And
Well, you'd have to see, once again, the specs, I haven't been up there in a year, is the place still being well-maintained?
There's just been a recent change in the Property Owners Association where they have more responsibility for running it.
Right?
So I don't know how that fits together. You know,
I would say,
And
they're not interested in
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
but,
If one of us can
but again,
attend and just hear what's
the
going
owners-
on.
The owners association there has taken over the
administration of the.
administration and the money that was going into the
maintenance fund.
yeah,
Right.
Well, they have. if they're-
association fees.
Yeah, if everything meets zoning, everything's legal and up to snuff, it's pretty hard to stop them.
So
Well, no, because
right now,
basically
it
this
doesn't
is
mean any
new.
zoning.
This is all new.
Okay.
This
We
be-
would be making the zoning fit this situation.
Okay.
And,
Right, it's from 4 to 16.
You're going from 4,
Right.
right, so right now, they could put 4 in that building.
Yeah.
Under the pleasant zoning, and what they wanna do is put 16 in that.
Is there any isn't there some kind of stipulations with affordable housing that if you put a certain amount of the building into affordable housing, there might be some tax incentives or something in regards to that
Section
when they
8
put
does.
in?
Sure. Yeah,
But
it's
it doesn't
very-
all have to be Section 8.
No, but it's
But
very
it
popular
changes
right
the
now.
people who will
And we
rent it
need
and
some
the
in
price
town.
point.
Yeah. Well, why don't
We
I
do.
go to the meeting? Why don't I get some information
some
so we have a
information
little
is
bit
better.
more, so we're not saying we're in favor or we're not in favor.
Sounds like there's a
I'd
lot
like
going
to see
on in
that
that
meeting
meeting that
too.
date,
Okay.
January
Very
14th.
knowledgeable to see how they can,
Everything I know.
oversee, how much money are they putting
Yeah,
into
lots
it?
Yeah.
How much money do they expect per rent? Even if they, tell you they want $2,000 a month,
Yeah.
in 6 months, a year later, if it doesn't work out, they can lower it down to 1,200
Yeah,
a
oh
month.
yeah, I don't think that will tell us anything.
Right.
Let me, I'm gonna attend the meeting anyway, because basically they're gonna be talking about putting together the subcommittees. And
When is that on the agenda?
That's January the 14th.
Oh,
Yeah.
14th
Yeah,
also.
so if anybody wants to
Is
attend,
that a planning and zoning?
that's a
meeting?
planning
Yeah.
and zoning meeting, and that particular part of it's 8 o'clock.
Is that here?
Public hearings are 8 o'clock. Their meetings start at 7:15, but that's a public hearing, and you'll see in the East Haddam News, there's a legal ad that says basically what it is.
And it just came out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
came out
just
today.
thought it, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just came out today. All right, I'll come and basically I'll just, whether they approve it, don't approve it, or basically I'll bet you it's gonna get continued.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think that,
that's a
that
one and
doesn't
done.
sound like a meeting
No.
deal to me. And then from that, I'll have a little more information, or if anybody else goes to the meeting, they'll have a
Say it's 8
little.
o'clock here?
It's 8 o'clock, yes.
The
Here.
hearing is at 8, the meeting's at 7:15.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The public hearings are 8 o'clock, because this is a public hearing. So they'll be presenting their whole application. Anybody else have any comments or anything that they'd like to bring up? Anybody in the public who would like to make any statements or comments? Rob?
The brochures, you're talking about putting them at the castle. Historically, the visitor center hasn't been open except for the bathrooms until probably May. So,
Oh.
You don't have to, yeah, I was gonna say they're closed now.
because the castle itself is closed, so just keep that in mind.
That's where
That's
they are,
something
they're
to
in the visitor center, that's
The
where we
visitor
put.
center, that's
yeah.
where the brochures.
That's where they are, yeah.
But that's
But
closed.
that's got the gate
That's
that
closed
comes
except for
down,
the bathroom, yeah, that
except
changed.
the bathrooms for hikers or
Okay.
And
viewers.
has Grandview Campground ever been the business of the month?
Yep,
I don't know.
Mhm.
At the
Thank you,
beginning,
though. Thanks for the
they were. at
I
the
bought the sign, I put it up.
That's how you remember, huh?
Yeah.
No one else is gonna do it?
Yes, it
I
has
thought it had
been,
been, but I just wanted to.
You can't believe how big the sign was, too.
Right. You know.
When you want the best, you get the best.
Yeah. All right, seeing there was no other comments out there, and no other comments from the board, I'll entertain a adjournment. We have a motion, so moved, done. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
We got it. All right, we thank you very much for coming tonight. And, oh, I do have one thing, I
My
have
child
a
thinks all of you.
$50 bill from the
My child
Business
thinks all of you.
Association, which we're a part of it, and so I will be,
What is this? I'm sorry.
Authorizing
Oh,
the-
look at you.
yes, look how
Sweet,
official.
and we received the check and thank you.
Gee, don't tell everybody you received it already. I'm supposed to run it through a meeting
No,
before
not that.
Oh,
No,
oh,
no.
not that.
We didn't
Oh.
receive that. No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
This $50.
the expo
Yeah,
check.
okay. Oh,
We
that
received
one.
that.
Yes,
Thank
was-
you.
That was a different one.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, I'll be paying that anyway. And I think it's really good that we have such a good working relationship with the Business Association. And so, all right, well set then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
Happy
Bug
New
you next 2
Year.
years, Robert?